Hello, everybody. Chris Hughes. Hey, we're about 10 minutes late. For whatever reason, I don't know what happened. Looks like we're about 10 minutes late on the broadcast. Apologies for that. I've gone through this entire rant trying to get this program together, and it looks like we're kind of having some technical difficulties here on the streaming end. But wanted to welcome everybody here. Chris Hughes, obviously from NC Preps, NC Prep Network, Rivals. Many of you may know me from CarolinaPreps.com. We've done that for decades. And also, and the big one, Talking Preps with Charlotte with Langston Wertz and Dale Ross and Coach Sam Griner and Coach Kerry Richmond, and had Coach Grice on there as well this week from Hopewell. Man, that was an awesome show. So I'm sorry for being 10 minutes late. We kind of had some technical difficulties trying to get this stream going on, but I appreciate what all of you guys have followed us over the years. We certainly enjoy the following and appreciate what you guys do to support us. If you're watching me on the YouTube network, please do me a favor and like and subscribe the show today. Send it off to your friends. Send the link. If you're on Facebook, hey, do the same thing. Make sure that you're either following us or forwarding this link out to other people so your friends and your neighbors and just everybody that supports high school football, they can get out there and they can watch what we're doing as well, because football is obviously very important to me. It's kind of been my ministry for about the past 10 years, and we just want to spread the good word. Now, hey, getting down to business. Why am I doing this live stream tonight? Talking 7-on-7s. Since our show on Monday night with Coach Griner and Langston kind of posed the topic 7-on-7s, and it certainly got a big response to me. I think I got a little animated in my discussions about it, obviously based off of my Twitter inbox, some tweets coming back to me, some emails, some texts, some of the different things going on. It certainly struck a nerve with some of you guys. So I wanted to get on here and talk about my feelings about 7-on-7s. I think I kind of came across being somewhat negative, and there's certainly a slant of mine that is a little on the negative side. But hey, I also am very, very, very in support of 7-on-7s. Back in my days as a coach, our teams, we loaded up on the buses and we went to 7-on-7s. We hosted them. We went every year. And if I'm ever fortunate enough or decide to get back in the coaching industry, hey, we're going to load our teams up and we're going to still do them, because 7-on-7s have a place in high school football. But, my thing is they're not the meat and the potatoes of it. They're not the number one thing. They're not the thing out there that's going to attract an audience. You don't just base your season on a 7-on-7. You might have some 7-on-7 events out there, but it is not your season. You don't live and die from it. Season's won in between the trenches. You're going to win the games based off what the big hog mollies up front are doing. That's football. That's why I've always used the word, and I've heard this word floated around for years and years and years. The 7-on-7s is fake football, and it's for that reason. It just ain't right. You see teams every year who get their kids amped up and excited, and they put the good-looking uniforms on, and they go out and they want to win 7-on-7 tournaments, and they run offenses and defenses based on just 7-on-7s just to go out there and win. And I get it. Anytime you compete, you want to win, and hey, that's awesome. But you shouldn't use 7-on-7s just as the defining moment to go out and define your season. You got to go out there and you got to get it done on Friday nights where they really truly keep score. But, here's what you can do with 7-on-7s. And I got to give a shout out to my buddy Adrian Snow, head football coach up at West Forsyth High School in Clements. He uses 7-on-7s as his opportunity to pull a kid to the side. Stop the 7-on-7 altogether. Stop the play. Get out there. Both coaches get out there, coach kids up. You pull that corner off to the side, or a safety or a receiver, and say, hey, bud, let's look at how you did it. Let's look what happened. Here's the result. Hey, let's coach you up. Let's do it right next time. And you've got coaching in the moment on the field based off of the last play, so you can correct it and get on and do better the next time. That's what I love about 7-on-7s. The other thing I love is the kids are out there competing. They're getting their heart rate up. They're running. They're exercising. They're out there having football-specific activities, but they're on the field. They're competing. They're giving it their all. And you know how teenagers can be. At least they're not inside on the video games, their Xbox, their PlayStation, playing Fortnite, whatever it is that the guys want to do this day and age. It gets them away from that and gets them on the field, getting them active. And of course, football, athletics in general, that's what you do. You want to get out there and you want to be active. So, hey, for that purpose, I love 7-on-7s. I coached at Douglasburg with Russell Stone for a while, and there, them kids, they were dying for activity. They wanted to be a part of football. In fact, we almost had to tell them they couldn't come because they would be there every day. So at least in situations there, you knew where your young men were. They were with you. They were safe. You knew they had something to eat. They were happy. And, man, that's what I like 7-on-7s for too, because you knew what was going on. You knew where your young men were, and you were out there competing. Second, here's kind of where I start to go a little bit downward in my discussions about 7-on-7. Again, I kind of mentioned play teams that just define their season. They go out there and all they want to do is win. And I get it. That's fine. I'm never going to say don't go out there and compete, because if you're going to get involved in something, you know what? You're going to go win. So that's cool. But I don't like the travel aspect of it. I don't like the AAU style and some of these travel teams. And I know the guys that run some of these teams, and I consider some of them to be very, very good friends. So I'm not going to throw organizations' names out there. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. But one thing that has always kind of got under my crawl and just kind of got me a little upset is that some of these teams, some of these coaches, some of these organizers, in that whole AAU style of getting the kids out there to be a part of it, it's like come out, get recruited. I think there's a misconception in players and maybe some moms and dads out there that thinks, hey, little Johnny can go out here and be on this 7-on-7 team, and he's going to light it up on the field over a weekend, and he's going to get recruited. And that's foolishness. Now, yeah, you could get out there and you can light it up and you can do some great things, and you will get noticed. But anybody can run some pretty routes against air or against somebody in shorts and T-shirts, and it happens and look good. But you still, where receivers are going to get graded. And, I was a receiving coach, and I think I know a little bit about this. I think in my conversations with guys like Gunnar Brewer and some of what I consider the best receiving coaches out there in the collegiate game, every athletic young kid can get out there and run routes and catch balls. That's not a problem. If you're at this level, you can do that. What these coaches want to do is what you do during the game when the play's going to the other side. When it's going to the backside or whatever, they want to see how you block. They want to see how you run routes even when they know you're not getting the ball. Things that happen on Fridays. Now, if you're using these 7-on-7s as a way to improve those concepts and to improve those activities, then guess what? You're a winner, son. And that's what it's all about. But I don't like these misconceptions that you got moms and dads out there thinking that their son is going to get a scholarship based off what they're doing on Saturdays during the 7-on-7. That's kind of where I kind of get over there in the weeds and start thinking about things when it comes to my dislike about 7-on-7s. And, of course, we kind of hit on it with Gary and, some of the things last night that, and I hate to say it, but sometimes you got it. You got some of these 7-on-7 teams out there in this day and age that are using it as platforms to recruit kids to other schools. And, of course, that just don't fly with me. I'm a traditionalist. I want you to go to school where your district says you go to school, and that be it. So, that kind of plays a little bit into my philosophies on my dislike about 7-on-7s. But for the most part, I just love it. I go to them anyway. Again, if I was coaching again, my team's going to get on the bus and we're going to go there. It's a football activity, and that's what I'm in. I'm in the football business, and I want to see football thrive. Again, I mentioned earlier in the show, for any of you guys that might have just tuned in and listened to us, for about the past 15 or so years, football has been my life. And really it goes further back than that. I was over at A.L. Brown High School today at Kannapolis, and, I can remember being knee-high to a grasshopper, being at my first games, going down the hill and, just being a kid. And, that's where I got my first indoctrination of football, was watching those teams there. So, I just want to be out here to promote the game of football. I think that it's the best thing we've got going, especially in this day and age with so much going on socially. I like to always quote the words that the Dr. Reverend Billy Graham used to say, that no activity, no athletic event, no movie, no show, no dance, no church. There's nothing in any town that can bring so many people of different ethnic backgrounds together in one place, like a high school football game. It's been my motto for years that football is the fabric of communities. It's what brings people together. It's why it's so important. It is town A playing against town B. Excuse me. It's just so important. And it's so important to the lives of the young men that played it, to everybody around it, the schools, the cheerleaders, the bands, even the students that don't play. They live and die every year, but based off of those seasons. And it's just so important. And I think in today's age, we need high school football more than ever. We've talked about it all year. Will we get to play? Won't we get to play? I don't know, but I really hope that we get an opportunity to play some football this year. I've said it already, the pandemic being what it is, you want everybody to be safe. We can't allow anybody to lose their life or be gravely ill based off going to an athletic contest. That just can't happen. As much as I want high school football to begin, you just can't, we can't lose no life. It's got to be done safely. But man, I really do hope that we can get some football played tonight. Before I finish things, again, if you're following us on YouTube or whatever, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Just want to try to spread the word of everything we're trying to do here. Again, support our friends, Miss Dina and everybody that helps us out at NC Preps. Make sure you're joining us on Monday nights for the Talking Preps crew with Langston and Dale and Sam and Gary and the whole crowd. Again, Coach Grice was on this week, and I can't say enough good things about him, man. He was fired up. He's very articulate. I thought he really fit in with the crew this week. So I really like what Coach Grice brought to the table. So hopefully we can get him back on. I do see that we've got a few comments here. Hey, there we go. Langston, hey, and you can tell by the way, Langston, I'm using your platform. So I appreciate you showing that to us. Coach McMasters, athletic director, basketball coach up at West Caldwell. Appreciate you, sir. Mr. Reese, appreciate you getting on here and following us. Again, so many people who have got on here and just followed what we've done, high school football, for about the past decade or so. I am just honored that people continue to call me up, ask me questions. I was on a radio show this afternoon in Greenville with my good friend Patrick Johnson. The fact that so many people are interested in high school football. And again, it's investing in our kids. It's investing in our communities. Brad Crawford, back at you, brother. Best in the business. So you talk about me being the best. Brad Crawford is awesome. 247 Sports. He is obviously one of the best in the world. Got a few other comments out here. Coach Short, Kings Mountain High School. Obviously, if you checked out the Twitter feed and the Facebook feed, you saw the Kings Mountain photos I was able to put up today. Again, incredible facility. I'm going to say it. I tweet it all the time, but you can only put so many characters together on a tweet. The athletic facilities at Kings Mountain. And notice I said athletic. I'm not talking about the football field. I'm not talking about the field house, the weight room, just the athletic facilities in general. They're putting turf out there around the tennis courts today. Unfreaking believable. I mean, you're talking about the best of the best of the best. Makes me almost want to move to Kings Mountain just to put my kids through the school there. It's just so nice. You talk about a school system that gets it. So they certainly do. Coach Bass, I hope we do get back to football, brother. Coach Bass and I share the same birthday, November 30th. So Coach Bass, I appreciate you getting on here and talking some football with us. Robbie Brown, former coach in South Carolina, Purnell Swept. Appreciate you, Coach. Coach Martin Samick, obviously you see the big ram right there. I think if we do have a season, it will be shortened. Coach, I was on Greenville radio station this afternoon talking that exact subject with the guys down there, Patrick Johnson, and I'm in agreement 100%. And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. I've said that time and time again. Back in March, April, May, I was exceptionally confident that we will play football. I was thinking to myself, there's no way that this is going to get in the way. You know what? I don't share those same sentiments anymore. I kind of have to side with what Q Tucker told us looking in her crystal ball. I think it's cloudy at best. And I just don't see it. I don't see us getting on the football field probably before late September, if not early October. And that's even at all. And I'm not trying to preach the gospel of gloom and doom. That's not what I'm about. If anybody knows me, you know that I'm out here wanting us to play high school football. I'm wanting us to be out there today. But I just don't see it. I have my fears that we're not going to play it at all. I really do. I hope I'm wrong, but it's just kind of based off the numbers I'm seeing and the number of cases at some of these colleges where obviously we've seen the numbers at Clemson where you've had a bunch of men sick. And it's going to go back to something I said a few minutes ago. You can't, and I don't give a damn how much we want to play football. You can't get in a situation where we let just one kid get sick. I think inevitably it's going to happen. I mean, once kids start going back to school, but you can't in good faith go out there and put kids in an opportunity, in a position to get sick. And God forbid some kid lose their life. I can't make that decision in good faith. And I know that our leaders, whether it be in Raleigh or Chapel Hill, the ones in charge and with the different school systems, I don't think they're going to make that decision either that's going to put some young person in harm. So that is why I'm starting to lean every day in the thoughts that, man, I just don't know. I hope we do. I hope that we can get a vaccine. I hope we can turn it around and get our lives back to normal, because I promise you, me more than anybody, I want to get out there and I want to play some football. I want to see what's going on. I want to see who's going to be good. I've already submitted my preseason rankings to Dina King to go in our book, and I want to see those rankings come to fruition. I want to see these teams play. I got Coach Samick's team right there. I think they're a borderline top 10 team going into the 4A classification this year. And dadgummit, I want to see them get a chance to play. So, I'm pulling for it. But boy, I sure do have my reservations. Let's just see. Coach Lucas Ford, defensive coordinator at Robbinsville, brother. I see you right there. I appreciate you. And boy, man, that makes me feel good. This is my first time doing a live stream across North Carolina, and I've got Robbinsville. So we've got the far west. We've got Larry Bass in the far east. We've got Coach McMasters in the far west. I mean, boy, we sure do have the state covered. And again, that kind of goes through my slogan from Murphy to Manio, from the Highlands to the coast, all North Carolina, all the time. That's what I'm trying to bring to you. Got another comment here. I didn't get her up there. Debbie joins kind of a second mother, I guess, to me. I've known her my whole life, and I appreciate you joining us tonight, Debbie. You've certainly been a great person. Got some other coaches right there. Stephen Pack, Newton Conover High School. Hey, Coach Pack, just to let you know, I do have the 2A rankings complete. And while you may not be in the top 15 preseason, you're right there on the verge. You might not quite make it, but trust me, you're not far off. You're right there in the mix. So we'll kind of see how it all shakes out. But I think you guys, assuming we can play, are going to have one heck of a season. I think that whole conference is exceptionally good. I think there's going to be some really good football played in that league, and certainly I think that your team is going to be one of them. So appreciate you getting on there. Got Wilkes Central in the house, Coach Reese. And sadly, that's one of the few teams I don't have a lot of intel on, but you look at them year in and year out. Wilkes Central has just always been right there in the mix. Love going up there. I hope you guys have an incredible season. Again, I kind of hope it comes down to playing some ball. Coach Davis, North Brunswick, May, June equals spring. You might be right. Here's my thoughts on spring football, though. We'll see. March, April, fall, May, June, spring. All right, heard January, February for winter, March, April. Hey, I'm buying into what you see. I'm looking at your messages right here, Coach Davis, and I could agree with you. I don't know if that's how it's going to work. Boy, I'm going to tell you what, that is going to make for some headaches for the athletic directors. Boy, you want to talk about the guys putting in overtime? I don't care what you're paying your ADs. You might need to pay them double if it comes to that. I see what you're saying, Coach. I appreciate that. See if we have any Big South 3A thoughts. Coach Short, Big South 3A thoughts. I think it's a two-team race. I think your team is probably going to be the one looking on at the top. But you know how that Crest and that Kings Mountain game can go. It can be a Donnybrook, and just anybody can come out on top. I personally, if we were to eliminate Weddington from the equation in 3A, and let's just talk small 3A, I think Kings Mountain's the best team in North Carolina outside of Weddington in 3A. So that's where I would probably lean is Kings Mountain. But obviously, I think Crest is really good. Coach Eden's bunch was really young last year. I like what he's doing, and he's obviously one of the best coaches. Hey, but guess what? Coach Lloyd is too. And you want to talk about big-time high school football, go to a game down there in Cleveland, the Big South Conference. Talk about some great high school football. Best of the best down there. Incredible. So that's my thoughts right there. I see Hunter Huss thrown in there, Coach Samick. I think Hunter Huss is a third-place team this year. They're still good. They're exceptionally talented. And Coach Samick, I know you coached in Gaston County for a long time, and you've got ties down there. And Hunter Huss is going to be good. But they graduated some tremendous talent. Zoe Wallace, quarterback, great young man. I got a chance to be around him. You don't replace guys like that. And obviously Coach McCoy heading down to South Carolina to James Island. I know they're bringing in a proven winner to replace him, but you just never know. So I'm kind of got my reservations on Huss. I do think they're the solid third place team, but I do think that they're just a little bit back from Crest and Kings Mountain. We'll see. Appreciate Chris Powell. Appreciate you, sir. I see your comment right there. Hope you guys have a great year. Appreciate you. For the record, I think your team's going to be really good as well. That whole I-40 corridor right there from Catawba County all the way up through Asheville, that's some really good football. And I know you've got a veteran squad coming back, and I think you guys could be pretty good. So I appreciate you getting on here and chatting it up with us tonight. I'll hang on here for just a moment just to give anybody else a chance that wants to come on. And again, for someone that possibly just got on here with us tonight, just now checking out what I'm doing again, this live stream, I'm going to start trying to do these a couple times a week, maybe not every night, but we'll see. Just get on here and talk some high school football, because the response that I've been getting from Langston Works and the Charlotte Observers guys with the Talking Preps crew every Monday night, you want to talk about some great footage with what Dale Ross and Sam Griner and Gary Richmond and Langston obviously putting that together. It has been unbelievable. And I've just had a lot of response, people saying, hey, man, you need to get back on and do your own show. And I kept hearing it. And I was like, man, you know what? Why not? And after, all the response I had from the 7-on-7 stuff, I felt like I needed to come on here and at least kind of explain my dislike towards 7-on-7s. And it's all good. Hey, brother. Let me tell you about this guy right here, Delvon Taylor. He's my quarterback at Douglas Byrd. Man, I probably he is a fighter now, as you can tell by the picture right there. I probably run DD, as we called him back in the day. I don't know how many naked boots I sent you on that year, buddy, but you sure did get it done, and you carried that team we had on your shoulders. And that was I know our record on that JV team that year didn't necessarily show a lot of wins, but that team right there was the foundation of our state championship team in 2008. And I know you were a huge part of that, brother. Appreciate you getting on here and saying that to me. Because, man, I think about you. You were probably my number one player on that team. And just to have here, what are we, 13 years later, and to come on here and have you talk to me, that's huge. And I appreciate you following what we do. And, all those young men from those years at Douglas Byrd and even the guys that I coached at South Rowan, and even a few at Southern Lee, I appreciate you guys for always sticking with me and following what we do. Hey, here we go. Yes, sir. But you recognize talent. Hey, you might not have been an NFL football player, but you can see by your picture right there, you have gotten it done in the boxing ring. You better believe I follow you, brother, because I love you like a son. And hey, you were my son there for a year. It seemed like there at Douglas Byrd, bringing you up, and you were an exceptional football player. And certainly love you for that. So I appreciate you getting on there. few other things. Larry Bass, thanks for all you do for high school football and the coaches. Glad you came back. We at Lakewood are ready to get back on the field. By the way, I think that you guys, I talked to all the coaches in your area. I think, Rosewood and Princeton, they are who they are. But I think you guys, I think North Duplin, I think you two are set to make a lot of noise in that conference this year. I really do. So hopefully we get on the chance to get on there. Terry Grayson, agree with Larry, Dina Langston, and everybody. I appreciate all of you guys. Dina, I need to get Dina on here. Dina is unbelievable. I tell people for a decade I competed against her and Arnold, and if anybody knows how tough it is to go up against her and the product that she has put out for years, you want to talk about just an exceptional young lady that loves her high school football and athletes and just so much. And I feel like she and I complement each other a lot. So, Dean, if you're listening, I love you and I appreciate what you're doing and letting me bring my team over to join forces with yours, because I think our best years are ahead of us, and I appreciate you and having a lot of fun so far. It's kind of slow getting into it because we don't have football to talk about, but we're going to have a lot of fun before long. So appreciate you there. RD, just wondering when someone will decide on that 2020 season. Hey, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Ruben Davis has kind of been one of our top, citizen reporters for years. Ruben is very well known on the Twitter ranks, on message boards. Everybody knows RD. There is not a more trusted source from the Sandhills for information, I think, than Ruben Davis. Haven't had a chance to talk to you personally, but I want to send my condolences here, at least publicly, now that I've got this platform for Coach Purvis at Union Pines High School, longtime coach and athletic director. And I know he was a dear friend of yours, Ruben. And so just wanted to throw that out there. By the way, I think the Vikings are going to have a really good year. I don't think it's a runaway conference with Lee County up top. I do think they're the top horse. But between your Vikings and Harnett Central, I think that's a 3-team race, and I think that's going to be a fun conference this year now. So we'll see. DD again, Delvon Taylor. Yes, sir. You always have my support. Appreciate you. Coach Weathersby, former head coach at Bartlett Yancey at Bunn High School, got us all fired up for football, praying it happens. Hey, right there, brother. I see Coach Fury and Larry Brock right there beside you. To talk about two men that are about as important to me as anybody, and obviously you right there as well, Coach Weathersby. I won't tell anybody how good our golf game is. We'll keep that to ourselves, but I appreciate you getting on there with us. Ruben Davis again. Will multi-team jamborees? I don't know. I'm going to say no, but I don't know. Will they take place? They might. Will they take place in August? I doubt it. I mean, we'll see, but having my doubts, brother. Got some more. Danielle Hardison Osborne, Ruben. I see you right there, Danielle, and anybody that doesn't know, Danielle's got a young son. He is going to be a stud offensive lineman up here in Forsyth County. I'm surprised some of the big teams haven't tried to recruit him away. I don't know if he's going to end up at East Forsyth or Walkertown. I know where you guys live, and I'll be thinking about him and about you guys, and hopefully he finds a good school to play at. I just hope we have football to watch him, because I know he's going to be a real good lineman. Coach Huey, hey, in the house. Coach Huey, he and I go back to 910 boys. Both of us kind of cut our teeth coming up through Fayetteville. Coach Huey's now at Hoke County. Been the head football coach at East Columbus. He's kind of been under Coach Metzger's wing at Pinecrest. He's worked under Coach Butts at E. Smith, Westover. Man, I think it's a travesty that Coach Huey's not a head coach somewhere. But one of these days, I think he's going to be a household name in the coaching fraternity and as a head coach in that Fayetteville area, most likely. Coach Huey. And you're still a young man, brother. Hey, they're 40's young, 35's young. Hey, don't worry that it's taking you longer to get to the mountaintop. You're going to get there. I know good-looking coaches, and I know what coaching looks like, and you fit the mold. And eventually, these administrators, they'll figure it out. But you keep doing what you're doing, and you've helped a lot of young men along the day. So appreciate you. Coach Robbie Brown, my opinion, conference games only in 1 or 2 non-conference games, depending on how many are in the conference. Best case scenario, agree. That's what I'm thinking too, Coach Brown. And obviously, I know you're very tied into it as well. And again, that's kind of where I'm feeling is late September, early October at best. And that is best case scenario. I'm not talking, worst case. I think that's best case. I think worst case is we don't play athletics at all this year. We'll see. Again, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. Coach Huey, you're right. It's going to happen. I promise you. Coach Bass, I would agree with Robbie. Got some more. Coach Samick, I wonder if we have a shortened season, will the state set how many teams will have? That's $1 million question, Coach Samick. And, I've heard some scenarios from some other coaches in different parts of the state. And I do think that number of conferences with some teams is really going to play into it. Look at the Central Carolina Conference, for example, and the middle part of North Carolina along I-85 and the 2A. They got 10 teams in that conference. We got a few other 9-team conferences. Boy, that is hard for the basis of what we're talking about and shortening a season. And, but I'll tell you how you do it, and I know how you do it. And it's an easy answer. And Q Tucker has even said this, I think, in previous shows that we had with her. But you just start at the end of the season and you count backwards and say, okay, we're going to play 6 weeks. Well, guess what? You just go play those last 6 opponents or whatever the case may be. So that's how you do it. Maybe they would give an open week or something to where maybe you play your first week opponent or something like that, just to maybe get a non-conference. I don't know how that works. So there's obviously some people out there a little bit more in tune that make a little bit more money than me that probably not, I'm not saying they're smarter than me, but they have access to more information than I do. And I got a lot. So they'll make those decisions and they'll do the right thing. I got no big concerns on that. Excuse me, guys. Another one, Ruben Davis, on whether the 2020 season actually happens is one guess. Another $1 million question to be answered. But yeah, you got it. You got that, Ruben. There's that, guys. We've been going at this for 32 minutes. We got a little bit of a late start again. I am trying to use this same system that Langston has used, that we use on Monday nights with the Talking Preps crew. And it had just a little bit of a technical glitch. Got it fixed. So was planning on coming on board at 8:35. Turned out to be about 8:44. That's my fault. Not a problem there. So we got that fixed. A couple other questions right here. If there's no football, it's hard to see any others. No, if there ain't no football, I don't think there's athletics. At least not till maybe basketball can stand up maybe in the winter. But I think the winter, the numbers are going to be higher. I really do. So that's kind of where I stand there. But you're right. So that's what so many people, you forget about things. Football pays the bills, not just athletically, the non-revenue sports, but in so many instances, the football monies, it goes to sport academics. It's so many other programs. And got another one right here. Coach Bass, Larry Bass, agreed, David. Most football programs carry, you've been in this business for a long time. I'm not speaking a foreign language to you. And, that's going to get me a little bit on a tangent. But I'm going to tell the story anyway. Year in and year out, and I'm taking pictures of stadiums every year. That's what I do. And now I've kind of ventured out and started taking pictures of stadiums across the country. And of course, I've been to the biggest of the big. A couple of weeks ago, I was up in Massillon, Ohio. I've been to Allen, Texas. I've been to Ratliff Stadium in Texas and Odessa. I've been to the biggest of the big. And everybody's always saying, football's getting all the money. Football, they're building them big stadiums and all that. Well, guess what? Texas, I think they figured it out. People up here complain sometimes, oh, football gets this or football gets that. But Texas hasn't figured it out. And I think Ohio has too, after I spent a few days up there talking to some coaches this past week. Instead of complaining about football, I think that the decision makers, the administrators, I think that they have learned that if you allow football to operate at maximum capacity, not only will football and all the other sports do good, but academics thrive in places where football is big time. I think communities thrive. I think that, you can go look at the numbers right there. I know a lot of doctors who have written their theses on the effects of high school football. And this is a proven topic. I think it's been shown that test scores are higher, that there's less attendance issues, there's less discipline problems. I think morale is so much higher. I think, you get a big stadium, you get a football, the money generated from that and the excitement, it does wonders for your school, wonders for your communities. That's why football is such a big time deal. And that's why I'm on here today. And that's why I'm out here waving the flag for high school football, because that's what it is. It's something that it's a vehicle. It ain't 22 guys playing between 53-yard white lines from sideline to sideline. Football, high school football, is a vehicle. It can be a vehicle to move your school to a better location. It's obviously a vehicle to get young men from point A to point B, that point A being where they're at today, high school to college, and having a better life. So, again, that's why I'm always out here supporting the football sport and waving the flag for football. A couple other things. Got the sports objective right there. Appreciate your coverage of North and South Carolina athletics. Look forward to having you and Dina back on the show. Anytime, just let me know. I've been on you guys before. In fact, I think I missed you this year. And I know we kind of had some cross wires in terms of your availability, my availability, or whatever, and I take the blame for that. But I absolutely love to get on there with you. Terry Grayson perfectly said, appreciate you, sir. Really do. Well, gentlemen, I know we got some ladies on there too. I appreciate all of you. We're going to go ahead and cut it short tonight. We've had a great show. Just looking here at the numbers, we've got had about 200 people at one time logged on listening to little old me talk about some high school football. So, what does it get any better than that? I don't know. But I appreciate the support. I can't do what I do without your following, and I appreciate it. You guys have been great. I will check with Miss King, see if Dina wants to get on here one day. We'll start doing this together, and we'll try to bring some coaches on and anybody else, just anybody. We just want to talk football, and it don't even have to be high school football. This is my own YouTube channel, and my thing is I just want to cover North Carolina. It might be a barbecue restaurant one night, it might be the Strawberry Festival in Chadburn the next. We might talk about the whistling contest, or we might talk about driving up to the Blue Ridge Parkway, or taking the road to nowhere. I don't know. There ain't nowhere in this state I haven't been. I've been on just about every back road, every county, every town. I got friends all over, and I just love the state of North Carolina, and that's why I do what I do, and high school football just happens to coincide with that. Bill Kaiser, a longtime writer for the Charlotte Observer. You even got a viewer from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Appreciate you, sir. I look at your Facebook page, your social media all the time. I love it. Man, you did a great job here in the Mooresville and the Charlotte area for so long. Salisbury, you're living it up and really doing a great job. Your photography skills, Bill, has just gotten great. I've seen your photos of your water skiers and just so much stuff out there. And you're living my life. I just can't wait to get out there and join you. I've often kidded, I'm retired from the Army, that, hell, maybe I'll go out and retire in Panama or something one day. And I look at your tropical paradise that you're living in, and I'm like, wow, you've done really good for yourself, and beautiful wife, and you got your little puppy there. So appreciate you joining me tonight. Always a pleasure. Got a few more Coach Probst. I'm friends with a lot of coaches in North Carolina, a lot. But I've only got about 2 or 3 or 4 that I consider my closest of close friends, who are like on my favorites in my phone. And obviously, you know, Russell Stone's there. He means more to me than about anybody. But when you talk about my best friends in this coaching industry, and you're talking about Mike Probst and Martin Samick and Todd Shuping and you know, that whole crowd. Martin, I mentioned Coach Samick. Hey, or lime scooters. That's an inside joke, but brother, you're absolutely right. Ruben, got to talk some barbecue. Hey, barbecue, that's a sensitive subject for me right now. I was talking about it to somebody else today. My two favorite barbecue restaurants in North Carolina, Carter Brothers and Winks now in Salisbury, are closed. Bit the dust. Coronavirus got them. I hate it. I got to find a new favorite barbecue restaurant. And boy, I am one of those persons that when I like something, I only go to that place. I'm not a very good variety kind of guy. Like, I eat the same foods everywhere. I do not vary. I'm not adventurous in my foods. I pick a favorite food. I pick a favorite restaurant, and dadgummit, I'm going to support it till the cows come home. But damn, two of them are gone. Excuse me, guys. I even got my mom commenting right here. That's a pretty shirt you have on. Got some other coaches right here saying the only recruiting is to coaches in high school in regards to 7-on-7s. I know you're right. Coach Brown, appreciate you what you, Dina Langston do. Appreciate you, sir. Coach Mackey, hi, Brighton. Thank you for all you do for our game. I think your Panthers are going to be way up in the preseason rankings. Again, hope we play some ball. 2 thumbs up from Larry Bass. Langston's you're not far from being right. Now that's in about 2 or 3 different cars, but you are closer to reality than you might think, brother. In fact, I bought a Honda, a Toyota Prius, just because it's a hybrid and it gets like 60 miles to the gallon. 2 years ago, last weekend, I bought it, and I've already got 82,000 miles on it. Bought it brand new. So that kind of gives you guys an idea of how much I'm driving. Bill Kaiser, got a spare room. Don't say that. If you know me as well as I think you know me, you know I'll hop on a plane or hop in a car. Well, I'm not driving a car to the Virgin Islands, but you know that I'd probably get there in a heartbeat. Coach Gilchrist, I'll be out your way Thursday and Friday. Got a dentist appointment Thursday. Might be open Friday. We'll see. Langston, getting any comments from YouTube. Brother, I don't know. I'm not. Yes, I am getting some comments from YouTube right there. Sports objectives. When you guys get down east, I've been wanting to get to Bees for a long time. I really have. And now that's on my bucket list. Surprisingly, I've never been there, and it's the craziest thing. So I do need to get to Bees. Langston, yes, you see it right there. Sports objectives are chiming in. In fact, I've got quite a few. I've gotten quite a few YouTube comments tonight. So it looks like we've got that. Got that going. It took me 10 minutes to figure out this system. I'd kind of been contemplating using it for a long time. But I think we are. Coach Moore, Elizabeth City, thanks for all you do. When are you come? Soon, brother. I need to make it soon, and I'll tell you why here down the road. I'm not ready to spill the beans on some things I got going on, but I do need to come see you. I need to get up there to that Northeast corridor. Got a lot of friends up there. Need to come up there. Need to see my guy, Coach Hoggard. So we'll talk. And no telephone. Wow. That reminds me of Johnson's Barbecue in Siler City, or Johnson's. Is it Johnson's Barbecue? RD, you might be able to correct me on that one. I think it's just Johnson's Hamburgers or Restaurant or something like that. Right there on the corner, right there down the street from Jordan Matthews High School, right there on Highway 64. And he pretty much makes his burgers his way. Big old slab of cheddar cheese. And when he runs out every day, you're out. I mean, you don't call, you don't go for more. When it's out, it's out. Cheeseburgers. There you go. I knew I was on the right track with that. Fish and shrimp. What? Am I American? Are you kidding me? Fish and shrimp. Absolutely. Um, we'll get her done. Um, Yep, Jimmy Owens, Johnson's. That's it. Man, we have got hundreds and hundreds of people following us here tonight, and this was just supposed to be some kind of a test run. I appreciate you guys hopping on board with me tonight. Trust me, it means more than you'll ever know. Langston Works again. It's the best system, but it has a bit of a learning curve. Wow, 7-on-7 part 2. I think I figured out the learning curve. I do have a software development degree, so I kind of get on things pretty easily. But you're right. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to manipulate this system. There's some things I still need to do, but we will. We'll definitely get it out. RD, you're right. They've got Johnson cheeseburgers. We can talk burgers. I had a Whataburger today, and anybody that knows me knows that I am a Whataburger connoisseur. My daughter and I went to Whataburger #1 in Kannapolis this afternoon for lunch. So we'll talk burgers any day of the week. Last Cowboys. I know that's an inside deal. Not a lot of you guys know what that means, but without a doubt, the last Cowboys, and we've been through it, all of us, for a long time. All you guys, and again, the relationships that we've got with the coaches over the years is tremendous. Man, our numbers continue to go up. So many people viewing us right now. I appreciate each of you. I'll give it another minute. I've been going at this for about 45 minutes. Can't go wrong with Whataburger, RD. Absolutely right. Cannot go wrong with that. I think we'll call it a night. It looks like it's about the last of the comments that have come through. Guys, I appreciate all of you for hopping on board. I just really I didn't expect this to take a life of its own. I just wanted to get on here and talk about 7-on-7s and talk about why I dislike it. And I really don't. But there's some facets of it that I don't like. I don't like the travel 7-on-7. But sadly, I'm scared that might be the direction of where we're going. Who knows? Got a couple more. Coach Probst, yes sir, for the kids. Absolutely. Coach Wotecki, never had a Whataburger. Hey, Coach, you're now here on my side of the state. I think you live about an hour from me. You come down here, we'll go to Kannapolis. We'll go get a Whataburger. It'll be on me. There's no question about that. Those guys see me coming. They love me. They know my special. They'll fix us up just right. Coach Kiefer and I, something you're staying with. This was a trial run, to be honest, Donnie. But with the results and the response that I'm having tonight, it very well may be a program that I'll stay with. I think the ease of use for this. There's some expense in this particular program, but I think the ease of use is pretty easy. So there's Dina. Dina, I was just trying this out tonight, this new program, just to see how easy it is to talk high school sports, or really just, it's not even a high school sports, just a live streaming platform. I think this is our ticket. I'm going to. If you wanted to hop on board tonight, I could send you a link and we could do you could hop on your camera right now if you wanted to get on here and test it out. If so, just send me a text message. I'll send you the link or whatever. It may be a little bit too late for that. And if so, that's fine too. But no, this has been phenomenal. And, just testing out the system and the ability to have people throw comments back and forth and pull them on the screen. And, like Langston said, this is a phenomenal system. So really enjoying this. Coach Probst, hey, I love you too. That ain't even in question. Coach Wotecki, deal. Hey, we're right there. Yes, sir. Sports Objective. That is the deal. Hey, and it looks like we're going to have Miss King is going to join us. So Dina, if you will, what we're going to do right here is I got you right there. Pardon me, guys. Miss King has the link. Coach Hal, appreciate you, sir. There we go. Dina, I just sent you the link. If you want to come on board, and if anybody else wants to come on board coaching-wise, we'd love to have more conversation. Send me a message. I will send you the link, and we'll make it happen. Coach Milligan, coaching at Hickory High School. He's another one of those Bird guys that came up along the way. Great that you're still working with Coach Stone up in Hickory. I know you've done a great job. Hey, and now we're going to add Miss Dina King. There you go.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How are y'all?
It has been a house full. Right now, we've got about 100 people logged on watching us. And had just nothing. I mean, I don't know the amount of comments, but I'm going to venture to say we've had about 100 comments.
Well, I'm sorry, my
cat
in the way, but I was going to tell Coach Wotecki, North Wilkes has one of the best concession stands in the area, so he's going to have to check that out on game night.
Hey, speaking of Coach Wotecki, and you know, it's kind of the thing now to have your neon lights and your flashing lights in your locker room. And I've already seen the pictures. It looks like a disco in the locker room there at North Wilkes. So it is something to be seen. And I might have to go up there just to get some video of it to put on my stadium pictures.
Well, you know, their cheese fries are the best. I've heard that many times. So those cheese fries up there at Trap Hill are very good.
I've been told that several times, Coach says. Outstanding. Wow. But now, Dina, this has been the Viking burger, he says. I love it when a school can name a burger after their mascot and make it a part of their concession stands. I think that is awesome. Got a question for you, Dina.
Okay.
Got a check in the mail for his football book coming to you.
Yeah, I'm getting very close to sending that rascal off for all you high school football fans. It's been a task, but I'm seeing the end of the tunnel really soon. So hopefully, maybe mid-July we'll have the book out, and hopefully some football a little bit later.
Well, I got a comment right here from Tracy Connor Riddick. Tracy, one of my old friends, goes back a long way. Dina, I don't know if you know Tracy or not. You guys are about the same age. I know you went off and played basketball at Wingate. She played at Wake Forest, one of the best female basketball players ever at Wake Forest, and she is a great friend of mine. You'll talk about two women hoopsters right here at the same time. That's some good stuff.
I remember Tracy. I don't know if she was that. I was trying to remember what year she was there, because we did go have camp, and I think my sister, being at Starmount, we were really close to Wake Forest and Coach Sanchez and everything. So I remember Tracy really good.
Tracy, send me a message on Facebook or something. I would love to get you on here one night and just talk. I mean, I'm just on here trying to talk high school or just North Carolina in general, not necessarily high school, but I think you're one of the best. If I had to make a list of top 20 female athletes, not just basketball players, but female athletes in the state of North Carolina, I think you would be on that list. So send me a message. I would love to get you on here and have another fellow South Rowan Raider to join me. And there she goes, Tracy. She graduated in '92.
Okay.
She was in school when I was at South, and boy, we sure were good. Her and Coach Perry Bradshaw and those Lady Raider teams. I felt like in '92 his softball team went to the state championships, and I thought the girls really, it kind of got a tough draw there in the playoffs later in those rounds. But I thought that both those teams had a chance to win a state championship that year in the 4A. That's saying a lot for two of your predominant women's sports in your teams in your school to have a chance to go to a state championship game the same year in the 4A. I think that's pretty big.
Chris, did you know Tony Cress?
I do know the name.
She played at Wingate when I did. She was a South Rowan Lady Raider. So I thought I would throw that name out. But thank you, William. Me and Chris, we share a lot of the same love for high school sports. And, we just, like we said before, we just thought it'd be the best for everybody if we kind of combined and joined forces to make it just a better thing for North Carolina high school football fans.
Absolutely. And that's what I've told everybody. Everybody's asking me, man, why'd you do it? Why'd you join? And like I said earlier, and I don't think you were watching at that point, but I was like, man, I've been competing against you and Arnold for every bit of a decade plus. And I know how hard it was to compete against you. I was ready to join the same team and see what we can do working together. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Well, we're getting older, and back in the young days, we had that competitive spirit, and you played ball, I played ball, and sometimes it's just in the world today, you just gotta mend fences and get along and do what's best for everybody, not be selfish and stuff.
I agree. Couldn't have said it better myself. Totally agree. Coach Wotecki, do you know any defensive coaches in the area looking for a home? In your area, not sure if I do or not. I'll be more than happy to post it. Just let us know. But I don't know if I know anybody in your area in general. But we'll do anything we can to help coaches out. That's what we kind of do around here. Coach Kiefer, we have nothing like you guys in South Carolina. I understand that.
Well, a lot of our friends have moved to South Carolina.
That's true.
We've seen it happen a lot over 25 so years. So I actually got some of the fans on the message board actually got a little aggravated at me because I was posting some South Carolina job openings because Aaron Brand, my real good friend, he asked me to post it, and they're like, why are you promoting South Carolina high school football? And I'm like, don't look at it that way. I'm just trying to help a friend. If somebody can better themselves by going to another job, then that's what I'm here for, to do my best to help anybody, to have a better life. So
same here. I think it's the same thing for me. And, I just promote high school football in general. It don't matter what state it is to me. I mean, their kids down there matter just as much as ours do up here. So, I'm just here to promote the sport and promote the communities and the kids.
Well, I saw your first thing was talking about 7-on-7, and I was that one, and I invited you to go down with me. But being Father's Day, I know that's important. You was traveling and everything, but I just was glad just to get out and see something, and I think I've seen a lot of great competitiveness there, and it was just something just nice to finally get to see something else besides watching, like Coach Griner said, Netflix and Law and Order and video games, and of course with me working on my book about 24/7. So it was just nice to get out and watch some pigskin.
I agree, and I would have been there if I could have, and I know what you're saying, and I totally do. Coach Brown, Coach Kiefer, congrats on the back-to-backs. Tell Coach Phipps I said hello. There you go. Look at the technology we have, Dina. We can just do everything right here in a click of a button.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. So I was like, wow. So this technology, you know, had to get better in these times. So
Yep. I think, yeah, I'm looking at everything I can do right here, and I can flip it around. I can make you big, or I can make. Well, we're gonna have to play with this, but there's a lot of different things we can do right here. So I think we've got the ability to have upwards of 6 people on at any given time. So I think that'd be kind of cool.
yeah, anything anything we can do to have a good discussion. I mean, it's good to talk things out, and have special, some special guests on here, and what you guys do with, your show with Langston is just. I mean, I laugh at it some. I really enjoyed the one last night because you had two of my favorite players, Chaz
Oh,
and
they were
Sage,
great. They were
and
great.
of course today I had to do a joke on. I had to go to the doctor, and I had my Carolina shirt on, and I had a Wake Forest mask. So I said I'm repping two of my favorite players, and they really liked that. Brandy, their mom, really liked that, and everything. So, but that was a good one. A good sibling rivalry, and Coach Grinder, I know he was probably in Sage's corner a little bit because he's the young one, but what a great story that will be when both of those two young men possibly get drafted next year.
Yep. Let's see, Coach Moore at Northeastern. I'm praying we get to play this year. What do you think? I don't know if you saw what I said earlier, but Dean, I don't know your thoughts on this, but I'm growing more and more concerned by the day, just fearful that we won't play.
It's like I said, I was down in South Carolina, and it was like, you know, a lot of people were there, and I guess like Coach Grice said, might have to kick the bucket a couple of times. I'm not sure because a lot of numbers out there, and you don't know which ones are, a lot of people saying different things, and so who knows? I just trust the people in charge that'll, Q and the High School Athletic Association and the government to do the right thing. I miss it, but uh, I think everybody misses competition and stuff. But we just gotta do what we can to get it back. If we can.
Yep. See, follow up question. What about switching the seasons? I just don't know if that helps because obviously, even if you were to play baseball today, I just don't know. I, in theory, I think it might be okay, but I just don't know. And I had a lot of comments today saying that if anyone should get priority, it should be the spring seasons because they missed out on their entire seasons last year. So I get that, but my fear is not the sport, but just whether the kids actually go back to school. And I think if they're not back into school in the traditional sense, then I'm fearful that we just won't play sports. And here, Coach Pete Gilchrist says D3 canceled football season today. So that's my fear. I'm so scared that that's kind of where we're heading.
And if they do something spring or switch season, you gotta look at some of this. I made the point today on Twitter: the small schools, the 1As and the 2As that rely heavily on multi-sport kids. Uh, how do they determine? I mean, I know football is the main money maker in most of the schools and everything, but it's a dilemma on what we're going to have to do if we can do anything.
Yep. Coach Gilchrist said D3. There's a comment right there from Coach Kiefer asking all of D3, which, let's see. RD says Bowdoin College and Maine canceled fall sports, including football today. We got Coach Wotecki right there that says, I love football and coaching young men, but I do think we need to think of their safety. And, Coach, that goes back to what I said earlier. And I want to see football more than anybody. But as a parent and as a responsible leader, I can't in good conscience say, hey, we got to play ball regardless, because, and Dean, I said this, and correct me, I'm sure you'd be on the same instance. We want to play, but if just one kid died because of this or someone got gravely ill, I just couldn't live with it on my conscience, and I don't think any of us could.
Yeah. I mean, that would be horrible. And, I had a crazy idea that we'd all have football suits looking like some kind of Star Wars outfit, just look like aliens out there possibly playing with their I've seen some new helmets, that people are putting out, and, it's just, I mean, I just sit here and I just really can't believe all this has happened, and
Yep, I agree. I totally agree. And let's just take a football. Football is a contact sport, but what sport's really going to be struggling? Think about wrestling. I mean, I don't see how they could even remotely compete right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the most on contact is the most contact sport there is. I just it's a big issue and problem. So we just see what happens.
Yep, I agree. We got Bubba Rosenbaum has this New York Times article. NCAA football cancels games. The way I read it, if it was all of D3, I could stand corrected. So we'll see. But bottom line for me, Dina, and I just want us to play. But I've said this. I feel like my mindset has changed since March and April and even May. I want to play. I know you want to play. We all want to play, but it's got to be done safely. Again, I just don't think that we can afford to get out there and get someone sick or even die. I mean, the numbers are the numbers. I mean, people have died from this, and I think the great majority of them are older persons. But still, I wouldn't want my grandparents or my parents or someone like that dying from something needlessly, and I think we would all agree. So it's just got to be done safe.
I agree. Because grandparents wants to see their grandchildren play and great grandchildren play, and it's totally different world right now.
Yeah, Lamont Robinson right here. He's the new head football coach at Oxford Webb, by the way. I'm got the press release, and we want to get you on here and maybe talk some football with you here soon, Coach. But will the trickle down effect start? And I think we're starting to see it. Had the 20 or 30 guys from Clemson that tested positive, and I'm scared that that's going to work its way down to even our levels. Roy Goodman, hi from Hoosierland. Roy is a big prep football reporter and advocate in Indiana. So we appreciate you getting on here with us tonight. I thought about you when I was driving back down from Iowa a couple weeks ago. I really want to go back to the Hoosier Gym to see the gym from the movie The Hoosiers. And maybe when I go, I'll give you some heads up and maybe try to get in there and see you. Yeah, I mean, Coach Wotecki's right. A death in the program will affect that school forever. Totally agree. So, I mean, obviously, we've got to be responsible in everything that we do, regardless of our abilities or our desires to play forever. I mean, that's a period right there on the end of the sentence, Coach. We're right there with you. Well, Dina, we're pushing 10 o'clock at night, and I had no idea that my little 10 o'clock video was going to go this late. We're going to answer a couple more questions right here. Jeremy Clayton, athletic director at Person County. How will it affect recruiting? Kids can't go to camps, all canceled. I'll let you answer this, Dina, but one thing that Dave Dorn and Mac Brown both said to me is that they're watching more film than they've ever watched. They used to just watch a few clips and try to get them on campus, but right now they can. I think film's kind of where it's at. Well, I'll let you answer that.
Well, I know it's the camp season. I mean, that's one reason I went down to Rock Hill just to see, because, I mean, kids just wanted to get out and just, go through some reps and some competition and recruiting. Colleges have had to adapt. They've had, all the coaches are having to do their Zooms and watching their, they're fighting, they brought some of the kids are coming in, but, they're doing online recruiting visits and like the topic that y'all talked about last night, it just depends. I mean, you're going to have parents that want their kid to, if they think he's got a chance to play at the next level, do what they can to help get him there. And if it's transferring him to a private school, if the private schools here in North Carolina, they let them play. Going border schools in the South Carolina, Virginia, and Georgia and Tennessee, border schools. If the kids go to there, I mean, it's just it's a tough decision. And I know Coach Brown had stated, he just wished the kids wouldn't switch schools because of that, but. That's up to each and every family about that decision.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. A couple other comments we got right here. Justin Byerly. I don't know how much money, the money side for the smaller schools, but how much of that money goes for basketball and golf? What's the trickle down? And Justin, you're absolutely right. Football pays the bills for all of these sports. I think in a lot of big schools, I think basketball can hold their own, and maybe to a very small extent baseball, but any non-revenue sport, I think football's pulling in the weight for them, especially. And this is a hidden cost that I think a lot of people don't see is you got to pay the gas, you've got to pay the budget, the travel, and I think football really covers that budget.
Newcastle. A lot of people don't realize how much money it takes to put on a game.
Oh yeah.
With some of these playoff games, there's not these early playoff games. They're not a lot of big crowds, and I've actually known a couple of times Starmout's been in the hole because they didn't make enough.
Oh, I got Coach Pete Gilchrist is on here. I know he's commented on some things. I think that he had told me, at a couple of the playoff games that they hosted at West Charlotte back in the years. That they operated on a deficit for some playoff games because of, I think, the Purnell Sweat game, possibly. I think from maybe 2005 or 6 might have been one where they kind of operated at a deficit because it was so cold and people didn't travel. Sweat didn't bring anybody up there. So, yeah, it's really hard situation for these schools to make money because it is such a hard or a lot. And, in big systems like, let's just use CMS for an example, they have a predetermined amount of police officers they have to pay. And, your ticket takers and just so many persons that the average fan might not think of that gets paid. And the state's going to take their money off the top to begin with before any expenses. It's a lot of money to operate a game.
Yeah.
And there's Coach Gilchrist. Yep, we did operate. I knew that. Woteki, travel is a killer. Great insight, Chris and Dina, two of the best to do it. I appreciate you, Justin Byerly.
Thank you, Justin. And Coach Woteki, you're not gonna have them long trips now. You got some Wilkes County schools and you come down to Yakin and Surrey and Allegheny and Ash, there's not going to be those long rides you probably are accustomed to when you was down there in Greenville. You're going to have some scenic rides around this Northwest North Carolina.
Well, Dina, it is 10 o'clock, and I think it's time for us to call it a night, at least on my end. It's getting past my bedtime.
Well, it's getting close to mine, and I appreciate you. I'm sorry I didn't see this sooner, or I would have been on a little bit earlier.
Well,
I think it's a great idea, and I can't wait to get back on and talk some more.
We can do it any night you want to. And it was kind of put together last minute as a response to some questions I had from last night. So I didn't really have a lot of time to plan it, but it looks like the response has been amazing, and I'm very appreciative to everybody that logged on. So thank you to everybody for Dina and for everybody that commented, and just everybody that supports us at NC Preps and that has at Carolina Preps over the years. Thank y'all. And we will catch you next time. Good night.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Chris.